Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide.
Welcome to Cowboylorian presents Club Mando. I am your host, the often imitated, never duplicated Cowboylorian, coming to you live from my home in the Cowboys lair here. You know what we're talking about today are the Cowboys. You know, there's a lot of issues going on here with the Cowboys. You know, some good, some bad. There's a lot of things that still gotta happen. You know, we gotta see what exactly is going on, what they're gonna do, how they're gonna do it. You know, so much happens with free agency, which is gonna happen here shortly, as well as the draft. You know, some of the things that have been getting talked about are cutting Gallup. Also, you know, if Tyron Smith is going to come back, you know, just so much is going on with the Cowboys currently. So, Mrs. T, thank you for joining. Appreciate you. So, you know, too many people are wondering, you know, what's going on with the Cowboys because of Jerry Jones. You know, he's always the topic of discussion for the Cowboys. We know that. You know, he says he's all in. They should be all in every season, in my opinion. But, you know, that's kind of, as Shannon Sharp would say, neither here nor there. We do have to see what the Cowboys are going to bring this season. They had so much potential to go so far last year, and they always are falling short, which is not a good thing. We cannot afford to be falling short any longer. You know, we have all these players that we're paying. We have, you know, Dak Prescott. We got to pay CeeDee Lamb. We got to pay, you know, Micah Parsons, and who knows who else. So we got a lot of things to, you know, get straightened out and get this team better. Texas Superfan, thank you for joining. How you doing? Tank Murdoch, appreciate you joining. But, you know, I want to hear what some people have to say about, you know, what's going on with the Cowboys. You know, I'm very opinionated when it comes to the Cowboys. You know, so many fans say, oh, you're always saying the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. I am one of the least people that actually say the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. I am the last person to actually ever say that. For a simple reason is I know exactly what we do in the regular season is not what happens in the playoffs. That is definitely not something that I'm very happy about. So we definitely have a lot of work to get done here for the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys Grim Reaper, appreciate you joining. How you doing? Texas Superfan, how you doing? How you doing? Appreciate you jumping on. Will Marshall, appreciate you as well. Linebacker and thumper running back. I'm definitely with you on linebacker. We miss linebackers. I don't know what DQ and the defense and Jerry Jones and Will McClay were thinking, not having more actual linebackers because nobody was filling those holes this past season. So definitely feel you. I wouldn't say we need a thumper. I think we need someone who can pound the rock, but give punishment more to those defensive players, because a thumper, I see a thumper as more like a goal line person. We don't necessarily need a goal line person. We need a person that can pound the rock first, second, maybe even third down, pass block to give our guys some give Dak some protection to throw the ball and look around. But it is what it is. Derrick Henry, yep, we'll see. You know, I don't really see us going after a big range running back. I mean, Saquon Barkley's out there. He says he wants to come to the Cowboys. But what I know is every player says they want to go to the Cowboys because they know it's going to raise the price for what it's going to go with another team. So any player can say they want to come to the Cowboys, but until they sign on that dotted line, I really don't pay much attention. Hey, 714 boys, we need a lot of work to be done. I agree. We do need a lot of work. We need some big boys in the middle, clog up that run game on the defensive side. We need linebackers to fill those gaps because we got gashed way too much, and not having those linebackers really hurts us. Heck, I'd even take getting Jalen Smith back in the fold, because heck, he did pretty darn good there. So wouldn't be too mad about that. Cowboys Grim Reaper. I don't know about O-line in the first round. If they're just a can't be prospect, possibly, because we do need to bump Tyler back out to tackle and find a really good guard or center. But I think we can also get some value in the later rounds for O-line. I think we either need to get, a playmaker on defense, whether that's a linebacker or D lineman, or, we may even need a safety if there's even one out there. I haven't heard much on the safety front. So, but I've watched Coach Zim. I know what kind of he focuses on the run so much. So I know the run defense is gonna pick up and be a heck of a lot better than what it's been, because he doesn't play. He will get on people's asses, and he's gonna be a sideline. So I'm really looking forward to that. I want to see how these players respond to that type of coach, because Zim doesn't want to be your friend. He wants you to do your damn job. It's what you get paid for. So we definitely need that. So I'm looking forward to that. Center from Oregon. I don't want a Jason Kelsey. I want a Travis Frederick. Frederick made Jason Kelsey look like freaking Biotish. Jason Kelsey held more than anybody else I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, he was a good player, but he was holding more often than not. I don't want Jason Kelsey. I want a Travis Frederick. Someone who can plow down the middle, who can make a difference and not get pushed back into the quarterback. So definitely don't want a Jason Kelsey type player. Sorry. Not a Kelsey fan. So we got to see what's going on. Oh, I'd be happy about getting rid of Terrence Steele. I've never been a Terrence Steele fan in my life. Terrence Steele can be kissed bye-bye years ago. He was never a good player. I don't know what some of these coaches are seeing in him, but last year proved a lot and basically showed what he was doing his rookie year and everything else. He's not a good pass blocker. He's okay in the run game. He does okay. Lyle Collins at 50% was better than Terrence Steele. And I'll continue to say that. LVE's retiring. So can't really worry about LVE. He was good when he was healthy and was able to play, but LVE had to play most of the positions that he wasn't ready for, mainly because of Jalen Smith got cut for whatever odd reason. I still think we should have used Jalen Smith when we had him because there was no reason to cut him, in my opinion. But these coaches are just really odd in some of their evaluations, especially, Philbin and some of these other coaches. I don't really get what they see. I see way more than what they do, and it doesn't seem like they do any kind of film study. They don't pay attention to something, or these quality control coaches who are supposed to be watching film and presenting all these tendencies and all that, they must not be worth a dang because things don't change, adjustments aren't being made, so much is going on. Yep, exactly. He has a kid, he can't afford too many neck injuries. LVE just he's got to retire. Unfortunately, it's sad, but his health is way more important. Definitely, that's the way I definitely feel. Is LVE needs to really, really worry about his health. We're for some reason we like to draft out of Boise. Boise State is like feels like our player development pool. We started with Scandrick, then we got D Law, then we got um, Crawford, we got got LVE. I mean, heck, we keep going to Boise. Poyer, I think he could be good, but it depends on the price tag. You know, like I said on Tuesday in our my other podcast, these players are just too much money hungry. They aren't playing to win championships. You know, some say they are, but you can tell in their play, and the way they just don't have that mindset. These players today do not have the mindset of winning a championship because that's where all the success comes from. Um, I'd still take I still take Gilmore over Poyer, unfortunately. Gilmore had a bad game against the Packers, mainly because of his shoulder, but you know, I Gilmore still shut people down, even at 32, 33 years old age. He still shuts people down. So Poyer does well for did well for the Bills, but so much goes into scheme and the way a player plays. Gilmore's more man to man. He can play man to man. Poyer, I think, is more of a zone corner. So I don't know. Well, we have a three-headed monster. Trayvon comes back. I know his brother's gonna push him this offseason, so you know he should be back right as rain. Hopefully, with Stephon pushing him. Stephon could be maybe even a trade target. Who knows? We'll see. So much can be done this offseason, but players got to get signed. Yeah, Gilmore definitely helped in that in Bland's development, but you got to give it up to coach. you know the our DB's coach is teaches them exactly what they need to do because you've seen what he's been able to accomplish with Trayvon as well as DB. So, they can only go up because they can shut down people even more. And DB is probably a little bit more of a shutdown corner than people think. He did not allow a whole lot of plays. He had some gaffes, but every corner is not perfect. So they we definitely got a good three-headed monster with some people. Cowboylorian, how you doing, sir? Appreciate you hopping on. So quiet over here on Facebook and Instagram. Usually so many people are so jumping on. One thing I've been seeing is all these rule changes for the kickoffs and stuff like that. This alternative rule change, now that I actually saw a little bit better of a interpretation of it, is not bad because it's kind of doing what the XFL did last year. I actually like it because it allows for returners to return the ball because the kickoff team and return team are 5 yards apart. Kicker's back, returner's back, and you go. So we'll see. Yep, Turpin will thrive. He needs to get more involved in the offense. He has so much capabilities that we don't take advantage of, and we gotta stop using our speed as decoys. We've done that for so many years. We have all these players that have speed, and they say we need speed. We have it on the team. We don't use it. We always use them as a decoy. We had Switzer, we had Lucky Whitehead, we have Turpin, we had Tavon Austin. We have all this speed that we have capability of, and we don't use it very well. Like players are allergic to using or coaches are very allergic to using what they have available. Well, Grim Reaper, one thing I will say this. We don't have to run Turpin or Cooks on deep balls all game. What we have to do is get them the ball while they're in stride. I don't know if anybody ever saw this, but we did not get the ball to Cooks while in stride to let him use his speed. If we would have just tried to get him the ball on a slant or a deep post or a deep corner and just let him go get the ball and run, so much could have been done with that. That was never, ever done. Freaking Cooks was always catching hooks and outs and, comebacks. It's like, let him catch the ball while running. Let him use his speed. Let him do what he's been doing in the league. Dak. Reaper, you're going to get me going on Dak. You're really going to make me go in on Dak on this one. I'm going to have to calm down on this one. After 8 years, Dak is not going to get better on timing throws. He's just not. He's either going to hit the throw, or he's going to overthrow it, or he's going to underthrow it. He is not that accurate on deep passes. The only thing I really want and the only thing I wish Dak would be is when it comes time for the games that matter, or the big games, the big matchups, the big rival games. He shows up from play one. Play one. That he has yet to prove that to me. Joshua, how you doing? Appreciate you joining. But Dak has not proven to me he can actually step on that field from play one on games that mean a lot, or a rival game against a team that's not in the division, and hit the ground running. It happened against the Packers twice, once against Aaron Rodgers, and then this season. It's happened against the Rams. It's happened against Packers quite a few times, actually. I'm going to include regular season. Happened against the 49ers. Dak wakes up when it is too late. He wakes up with 8 minutes left in the game, and it's time to play now. Where was that the whole game? That is my problem with Dak. He is yet to show up when it needs to happen immediately. Yes, he shows up for the Eagles. Yes, he shows up for the Giants. Yes, he shows up for the Commanders. But that means very little if you're not showing up for the playoff games where you can go win a championship. Spooky, the thing is that everyone goes at him for what he is as a player. Him as a person, he's probably the best person you'll ever meet, best person you ever talk to, best person you'd ever know. There is no problems with Dak as a person. The problem is what he's doing on the field. Nobody attacks Dak for off the field. You can't. There's no way you can attack Dak off the field. What he does in the community, what he does or who he is as a person, nothing. You cannot attack him at all. There's just no way you can do it. But his play on the field, when it matters in the playoff games, is where he's getting cooked, and it's rightfully so. You cannot have such an amazing regular season and wet the bed when the game's on the line or when the game matters. We've been the number 1 seed 2016. We've been the number 2 seed this past season. What happened? We were out in the first game because he did not show up the first 3.5 quarters. No, he's not the only one messing up, but he's also quarterback of what team? The Dallas Cowboys. You're going to get held to a higher standard than any other quarterback. Cowboy fans want a winner. That's what we're used to. If we didn't win as much as we did in the past, then there wouldn't be these expectations. ESPN can't stop talking about the Cowboys because it gets them ratings. That's all they care about is ratings. They know the Cowboys, everyone's going to tune in, everyone's going to watch, everyone's going to listen because it's the Cowboys. That's why they bash them so badly, because it's all about the ratings. And they know they'll get a reaction from us Cowboys fans. If they didn't get a reaction from Cowboys fans, they would stop talking about the Cowboys. But we're too big of a fan base, too much of a loyal fan base, too much of a protective fan base to let it slide, because we know we want a winner, we want a championship, we want everything. Exactly. Everybody knows more about the Cowboys than their own team. We all know that. I have family members that are Broncos fans, Eagles fans, Giants fans, Commanders fans, Vikings fans, Chiefs fans. They know more about the Cowboys than their own team. It's because people love to hate the Cowboys because we have a loyal fan base. And if you guys haven't heard this before, here's some breaking news for a lot of people. The reason Philadelphia fans hate Cowboys fans is because they hate the Philadelphia version of Cowboys fans. Because you get a Cowboys fan with the Philadelphia attitude, that speaks trouble, and that is the problem with Philadelphia fans hating Dallas so much, is because of Philadelphia living Cowboys fans. Spooky, what do you mean the Vander incident? Oh, that was expected. Yeah, I kind of touched on that a little bit ago. He needs to worry about his health. He can't afford any more neck injuries. He does need to retire. That's a certainty. Chris, appreciate you joining, hopping on. Seth, appreciate you hopping on. You know, there's a lot of things that's got to happen with these Cowboys. Someone needs to light a fire. Someone needs to just wake up. Hmm, that might happen after the season, but I doubt it. They're talking more about Trey getting traded to Minnesota than they are about Trey even having a chance to start. They're talking more about him competing against Rush in training camp for the backup job. We'll see what happens there. Magic Mike, Cowboys, yes, sir. Uh, can't say much. No finisher. Can't say much. Y'all beat us good this playoff game. There's nothing more to say. Although I was ready to smack every single Packer fan that was at the game. Yeah, and I did say I can't say much because y'all gave us a good smack in that this last game. Yeah, the whole game, the whole thing was crazy. But yeah, if you ever saw the little clip of Bernie Mac smacking people while walking past the train, yeah, that was about to be me walking out of that stadium that game, hearing "Go Pack Go." It was about to be Pimp Slap Central. Is what was about to happen. Finisher, who cares if you made it to a Super Bowl? Are you worried about a participation trophy? I don't care how many teams have made it before the Cowboys. If they haven't won, It don't matter. You still lost. You don't get points for second place. It does not matter if the Cardinals have made it. It doesn't matter if the Bengals have made it. They still lost. They still go goose egg. They go away with their hands in their pockets. They get nothing. You don't get a participation trophy. The only team besides the Patriots and the Chiefs that have won the Super Bowl have been the Rams, and then the Eagles. But one Super Bowl doesn't make a big bit of difference either way. Oh, you mean the Chokester Eagles? Because they won one in the last 70 years? Yeah, sure. But since you are a Green Bay fan, it ain't been 12 years. For Rodgers being such the greatest quarterback, y'all lost quite a bit in the NFC Championship. Lots of hope just to come crashing down. Very similar to the Niners. Niner fans are the exact same way. Oh, well, we beat y'all in the regular season. Congratulations. What'd you accomplish? So ain't won a Super Bowl since 1994 or 5. Eagles are 1-5 finisher. 1-5. Congratulations. A team's gonna win. One team wins, one team loses. Nature of the game. Still went to San Fran and lost. It doesn't matter. Winning a playoff game doesn't matter. Again, unless you win the Super Bowl at the end of the year, it doesn't matter who won, who lost. Everybody's a loser. The higher you go in the playoffs, just more hope. More hope, more hope, more hope. Unless you win, you're in the same position as the rest of the other 31 teams. Isaiah, how you doing, sir? Spurs big homie, how you doing? Sal Rodriguez, how you doing, sir? Yeah, I mean, the Green Bay has some good players coming up. Jordan Love probably played better than a lot of people expected. The receivers finally started to get their groove, so we'll see what happens next season. No one really knew what to expect of Jordan Love, so we'll see what happens. I mean, Green Bay, I heard, is looking for another quarterback anyways, so we'll see what happens. Jared, how you doing? Yeah, we gotta see what the draft in this free agency is gonna do, but we gotta see what we're gonna do with our own players. We got some major needs that we gotta fill. Spooky, I don't know why you rep two teams. Two teams is I don't know how anybody can do two teams. I'm still trying to figure out why Houston wanted to name their team the Texans. Still doesn't make sense to me why they did that. Being that's the Chiefs' original name. For those that don't know, yes, the Chiefs used to be known as the Dallas Texans. Jerry Jones owned the team, or not owned the team, owned the name, and gave it to Bob McNair, the Houston owner, for free. That should be a good tax write off for Jerry every year for having owned that name for so many years, and another guy is making money off of it. It should be a charity donation every year. Spooky, I think you need to decide on one team. I can tell you've been jumping in and out. It must be that T-Mobile service or AT&T. One of the two. Definitely ain't Verizon. You need to jump to that Verizon. Then it's your phone. Because Verizon service ain't bad. I lived in the mountains and I never had issues with my service. So I'm just hoping that Instagram and Facebook and YouTube can hear me this time because made the mistake of being on mute all last hour on Tuesday. So wasn't too happy on that. Spooky, you should just rep Dallas then. If you rep Dallas more than the Texans, you should just rep Dallas. Texans don't have that much of a history to, kind of hold on to one or the other. I used to like the Broncos a long time ago. Then I realized that they were never really being that much at that time until 5, 6 years later. So, I stayed with the Cowboys, been the Cowboys permanently ever since. But I was also 5 years old at the time. One thing about the Cowboys that really irritates me is Stephen Jones, a lot of the stuff that he says in the media, besides Jerry, is going to be Jerry no matter what. He's a marketing genius. He's going to find a way to make headlines no matter what's going on here. But Steven needs to stop putting us in cap hell. We are always in salary cap hell, and I have no idea how that's possible when we are not paying any of these free agents like these other teams. Yet all these other teams are having 50, 60, 80, 90, $100 million of available cap space, and we're always struggling to be under the cap. We got to stop these restructures and whatever else is putting us in cap hell all the time. We got to put an end to it. Steven's been around the salary cap since it was first put in. He should know exactly how to maneuver this cap. Seems like everyone else has figured it out but him. We got so many of these players. So many players we got. We need to figure this out. We gotta stop paying players when they're injured. We gotta see how they do when they come back from injury instead of signing them to long-term deals like Gallup and Steele. I know what we want to keep Gallup. I know what he's been able to accomplish when he's healthy. And against Green Bay, he showed what he can do if he's given the opportunity, but he's got to get the ball in his hands. That's the problem. I seriously want to know what is going through so many of these players' heads when it comes to signing these contracts, giving these contracts out. They need to get smarter. They got to stop. I know they want to depend on their agents. They got to stop depending on their agents and start thinking for themselves and get business smart because what some of these players are get angry when they get cut for salary cap casualty and have a vendetta and all this other stuff. You should have known what was going to happen when you sign a certain type of contract. You're never, ever, ever going to be paying attention to. You're never going to get the full amount of that contract. If you're going to sign for big money and you don't produce, you just signed your own death warrant. Because that's going to be your one and only time to get a big payday because no other team's going to sign you for a big amount of money. So you better produce if you're going to sign a big contract. Especially if you're injury prone, you really got to prove. Like Saquon, be nice to have him, but I'm too worried about him getting hurt. He's just injured way too much for my liking. He's really got to figure that part out. He's got to stay on the field. You might have to do a prove it deal. Levi, how you doing, sir? It's Catherine Wall. How you doing? Appreciate you joining. Levi, you missed out on most of the conversation. We've been talking Cowboys and you haven't been here. What's up with that, man? What is going on? Let's see. There was something on here. that I saw on the Cowboys. There is one person I'm actually looking forward to seeing and see what he's capable of, and that's Marion Overshone. I thought he was going to do some good things based on what we saw. It's just too bad he got hurt last year, but he should be ready to go. And I can't wait to see what he does at the linebacker position, or we push him back to safety. You know, he can be a big difference maker if we put him in the right position. I think Zim's going to figure it out for him. He's got some speed to him. No worries, Levi. It is the middle of the week. Got one more day. Oh, some of us have one more day of work for the weekend, but no worries, boss. And you're talking about the receiver from Texas? So having that speed is great and all. Problem is 99%. No, I'll go a little bit lower. 97% of the time, you're never going to see a player ever use that speed. If a player with speed cannot be physical, cannot get off the line, cannot get off press coverage, that speed means jack. And most college teams do not have to deal with press coverage. They are dealing with zone. So it'll be interesting to see if, he's able to do some things in the NFL, and it's very big possible. But he's got to be a physical receiver. I didn't watch a whole lot of Texas games, so I'm not too familiar with him. Having that speed is great, like I said, but in the NFL, it's a big change, because you might be going for where you played zone against zone DBs the entire career in college, and then you get in the NFL where they're going to press you, they're going to bump you, they're going to touch you. You can't get off of that. You'll be one of those players that was a combine warrior who can run when it doesn't matter, or run when you're wide open. But Josh Martinez, how you doing, sir? Thanks for hopping on. But yeah, this draft should be interesting. With the combine over now, we'll see what the mock drafts come up. The pro days, the visits. A lot more has become clear for what the Cowboys are going to be looking at. So we'll see. We can always get that draft surprise. Trust me, I've been surprised by some of the draft picks that turned out pretty good. Travis Frederick was one of them. I thought that was a dumb pick at the time. I was wrong, and I have no problem admitting I was wrong. But when you don't hear about a player a whole lot of times, Tyler Smith's another one. I heard he was a mauler, and I was like, hey, I'll deal with the penalties if he's going to be plowing over players. And he's turning into being, not saying that he's there, but he's turning into a Larry Allen type player where he just can go anywhere on the line, be dominant, but also nobody's going to mess with him. I don't read into that, Levi. I honestly don't. I don't. People leverage the Cowboys. They say, "Oh, I want to go to the Cowboys," and that's just to get other teams interested, because they want to get, someone offer them a lot more money than they will get from the Cowboys. Now, if it was a draft pick, okay, I'm okay with them saying that, because there's not really much money involved, because they don't have a choice. But there's a lot of former players that live here in Dallas because it's the best place to be. I mean, you got Terry Bradshaw. He's just a little bit north of Dallas. I think maybe even on the border of Oklahoma. But he likes to be down here in Dallas quite a bit. So and you also have Patrick Mahomes. He's out here in Fort Worth. You know, so many players are here in Dallas. It doesn't mean a thing. They have to sign on that dotted line for me to even worry about it. Yeah, there are going to be stories, but they want us. That's the thing about the Cowboys. Any player that becomes available, oh, he's a great fit for the Cowboys. Oh, the Cowboys are interested. Obviously not, because we don't go anywhere near half of these players that we probably could have gotten. We needed linebacker help last year. We could have brought back Anthony Barr, being he was only on the Vikings practice squad. Did we do it? Nope. What did we do? We had a linebacker on the practice squad just to play special teams and then cut him. So I don't know if that was DQ, that was the Will McClay, what, but you know, there unless the player is ready to sign on the dotted line or taking a visit, then I'll have a say on it. But rumors are rumors to me until something is coming of it. Unless they are visiting, unless they're like Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones decide to say, "Hey, we're having discussions with this player," or they're hanging out with Dak and CD and Zach Martin. I really could care less about what's being said out there. Yep. It should be an interesting off season. I agree. We'll see exactly what happens. Got to get under the cap. Either sign CD, sign Parsons, do something. I see what Parsons has to say about him getting his 5th-year option as a defensive end as opposed to a linebacker. So I'm sure I'll have to say something about that, but who knows? We'll see. So much has to be done to free up some cap space. So we'll see as it gets close. As I think the league year starts on the 15th, so we got another 7 days to see what's going to happen before that day, because that's the deadline for the Cowboys to be under the cap. So they need to make some moves. I don't know why they wait to the last second to do things. It's really stupid in my opinion, but what can you do? And I'll say D-Law needs a good talking to. Saying that people were tired, or you know, just like Micah said, you don't do that. But also, that is the dumbest excuse I've ever heard anyone say. Oh, we lost because we were tired. No, you made it to the dang playoffs. You need to wake up and get going. You don't slow down. That's where you amp up. And there's times where players gotta overcome coaching. It so much is put on coaches, especially coming after McCarthy. It's you got to put it on Dak, you got to put it on CD, you got to put it on the O line, you got to put it on the defensive line, safeties, corners, everybody. It is said that you gotta be accountable in order to win a championship. No more pouting on the sideline. No more nothing. I don't care who it is. Someone needs to step up, get in. You know who's get in the offensive. You know who's and the defensive. You know who's, and that could be one person. I don't care, but stuff has got to change. Dak's new look. A lot's being made about that. We'll see what that actually means. Maybe he just wanted to cut the beard so that way his little baby girl can have a smooth face. Who knows? But if that's supposed to be an attitude change, let's see it, because nobody's going to really care right now what the Cowboys do in the regular season. They can go 1-15, 0-16, or 11-6, 12-5, 13-4, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It's going to be what they do in the playoffs. The only thing that matters is what we do in the playoffs now. You've had 12 wins the last 3 seasons. It's about the playoffs. Aldo, CH69, how you doing? Or Little, thanks for being on. Monica, thank you for joining. Appreciate you. Linda, thank you for hopping on. Yep, exactly, Levi. We the team needs to be accountable. You know, Lamb and Parson said they are going to do things differently. Well, they got to get the entire team to do it. I need to see more out of the CD. You know, the short passes and stuff like that. You know, I'm fine with it, but there's times where you got to take some of those to the house. You only had 2 or 3 of those in your career after 4 years. You know, that's got to change. You got to be more of a threat. You become that threat that, you know, you can take any ball to the house just on power and speed and everything like that. You know, you're going to be looked at a lot differently. Go work out with Dez. I'm sure Dez Bryant can teach you some things. I know you're always in a chat with him. Go work out with him. Have him show you some stuff, because Dez was taking little short bubble routes and everything like that to the house, 40, 50, 60 yards. Things got to happen. All right, y'all. Thank you for everyone for who joined today. I'll be doing these a little bit more about myself, talking about specifically the Cowboys. But thank you all for joining, and hope you have a great rest of your night.